Well, we're joined from Westminster by former Brexit Minister David Jones, the Labour MP Stephen Kinnock, and with me in the studio, Professor Roger Owen-Scully from Cardiff University. Thank you all for joining me, especially you two in Westminster on such a dramatic night there. Stephen Kinnock, I'll start with you. Why didn't you follow your leader tonight?
Well, I've been arguing for 18 months now that the European Economic Area is by far the best option for us. It will get us out of the European Union, respecting the democratic result of the referendum, but it will also protect the jobs. Tens of thousands of Welsh jobs depend on frictionless trade with the European Union. The EEA is a well-established and well-understood model that gives certainty, and at the moment we've got this kind of rainbows and unicorns approach from the government.
On this, Jeremy Corbyn is wrong.
Yes, I'm afraid on this he is. Defying the whip is not something we take lightly, but I think that if we'd been whipped this evening to vote for the Lord's Amendment on the EEA, in fact the rebellion would have been a lot smaller.
You're failing to land a blow as an opposition party here, aren't you? You've got a government driven on Brexit with a very shaky coalition, and you're not landing a single blow on Brexit.
Well, look, we're elected to Parliament to vote with our consciences, to do the right thing for our constituents, to do the right thing for our country. And what this government needs to understand is this shambolic approach to the Brexit negotiations is leaving us with no option but to take models and templates that already exist. And I hope that my leadership of my party will...
You're a shambles too as a party, aren't you? You can't defeat the government on this.
I think we've had a disagreement in the party about how to take this forward. I'm confident that our leadership and our front bench will come to see that it's the best option. It's time to put the country first and to make sure that we get a deal that doesn't destroy the thousands of jobs of the people that we were elected to represent.
David Jones, the government is hardly united on Brexit, are you? You've just got away with it, haven't you, this time, in terms of these votes?
Well, we actually scored all the goals that we needed to score, and we actually got all our business through. Of course, it goes back to the Lords now, and it remains to see what they do with it. But I think that they should take account of the fact that we have got victories in double figures. I mean, in particular on the EEA amendment, which you mentioned, we had a majority of over 200. So I think that that's very compelling, and I think that the unelected Lords should be listening to what the elected Commons have to say.
So does this give you a complete free hand now to go for a very hard Brexit?
There's no such thing as a hard Brexit. There's a question of delivering on what we were sent here to do by the electorate. The electorate voted to leave the European Union, and we must leave the European Union, which means leaving all the establishments of the European Union.
Let's just talk about devolution and a dramatic walkout from the SNP today because they're not happy that they're not being listened to. David Jones, they've got a point, haven't they? When it comes to the devolved nations, you're not really listening, are you, as a government?
Well, the Welsh Assembly government is in agreement with what we're doing at the moment. So it is the Scottish nationalists. They made a grand gesture of the sort that they're prone to do. But the fact is that the Scottish Parliament will have no fewer powers to exercise than they have at the moment. And of course, the government has set out a direction of travel which will give more powers, more practical powers, both to the Welsh Assembly and also to the Scottish Parliament.
I'll bring in Roger Scully here. I mean, that's a fair point, isn't it? The Welsh Government did back this. The Scottish Parliament didn't. They're doing all the running on this in terms of the powers coming back from Brexit, from Brussels. Where will they go? Scotland's doing the running here.
Well, there was, of course, an alliance between the Welsh Government and the Scottish Government for several months on this issue. The Welsh Government has reached a compromise with the UK Government on this issue. The Scottish Government opposes that still. But David Jones is quite wrong to say that this is just the Scottish National Party, of course, because in the Scottish Parliament, every party except for the Scottish Conservatives have opposed the withdrawal bill and its devolution aspects.
Yeah, so why not listen just a bit more, David Jones? This is a whole country in terms of Scotland saying we don't want this.
The point is that the devolution settlement was actually established after we were members of the European Union. Once we cease to be members of the European Union, then the circumstances change. And we have to decide what is important to do in order to maintain the internal UK market and to ensure that we can resolve treaties with overseas countries, which is very difficult to do if the Scottish Parliament are going to be exercising their own powers in a totally different direction.
Stephen Kinnock, are you disappointed that the Welsh Government has allied itself with the UK Government on this and isn't fighting against the UK Government? It's a Labour government here in Wales saying, yes, that's fine.
I think the Welsh Government took a sensible and pragmatic position, and it has got an agreement in there about frameworks that have to be sorted out with the UK Government to prevent that power grab in Westminster, which of course many on the Conservative benches would like to see. Fundamentally, the Welsh Government has taken a sensible approach throughout all of this. It's been in favour of us staying in the European Economic Area, and it's been in favour of us getting a settlement that works. Nobody here is talking about reversing Brexit. We're talking about how to make it work for the people of Wales, and the Welsh Government's taken a responsible, sensible and pragmatic position on that.
David Jones, how do you think Theresa May's handling all these negotiations? Do you think she should channel a bit more Donald Trump, as Boris Johnson suggested?
Well, she's achieved everything so far that she set out to achieve. We got the notification of withdrawal bill through, we triggered that. We've now got the withdrawal bill through, at least I hope we will if the Lords are sensible and accept the amendments. So although she has been getting criticism, I think that a lot of it is completely unjustified, and she is actually delivering the Brexit that the people of this country voted for in the referendum, and of course on a manifesto that we were elected on, and of course indeed the Labour Party were elected on. In other words, to deliver Brexit.
You've got to acknowledge that, haven't you, Stephen Kinnock? She's getting everything through.
Our manifesto said that we will protect the benefits of the single market and the customs union. So it's absolutely not true to say that we're not living up to our manifesto commitments. And sorry, to say that the government is in control of Brexit is just nonsense on stilts. The Cabinet has still not agreed what to do about the customs union. Still no clarity on what to do about things like free movement of labour or the single market. The whole process has been characterised by fudge and kicking the can down the road. And the problem for the government now is they're running out of time, and they're spending the whole time negotiating with themselves rather than with Brussels. I actually think that the level of incompetence and shambles is unprecedented. That's why it's up to Parliament to step in and actually inject some honesty and realism into this debate.
I mean, Roger, when people are watching this, are parties ripping themselves apart, both parties here,
Yes.
I mean, what will people make of it, do you think? Voters who wanted either to remain or leave?
Well, I think a lot of people were very confused. People thought that the decision was made and it was up to the politicians to deliver. But I think clearly the government is finding it very difficult to manage the whole Brexit process. I mean, actually what's going on at Westminster is probably the part of Brexit that's going best. The external negotiations with the EU seem to be going very badly, and also negotiations and relations with the other governments in the UK are going badly. But the Labour Party, frankly, is a shambles on this issue as well. And there is no clear direction and really no clear leadership being given to the country. And this is doing, I think, the UK's international reputation very considerable damage.
One word from each of you. We're meant to be leaving in 10 months. Will it definitely happen? Stephen Kinnock first. Will it happen, Brexit, in 10 months?
Who's that?
Stephen Kinnock, yes, to
to
you,
me.
sorry.
Sorry about that, I wasn't sure who you were asking. Look, yes, I mean, I think we have to leave the European Union. The big question will be the withdrawal deal that gets done and gets brought back to Parliament. Will that wreck
Not quite
the
a word.
British
Will
economy?
it happen? Will it happen? Yes. Is that a yes?
Yes, I think
That's a
we
yes.
will leave
David
the European
Jones,
Union.
will it happen in 10 months?
Yes, of course it will, because we've given notice to leave, and as a matter of international law, we have to leave on the 29th of March of next year.
Final word to you, Roger.
Will it happen? Yes, but badly.
Thank you all very much for joining us tonight. And